Hi there, welcome to Gifted Guitars. Today we are going to continue our work on this guitar that I am making for Rachel Zegler, star of West Side Story, the new Steven Spielberg version of that musical. I'm excited to see the musical, and I decided to build a guitar for her because let's celebrate being in your first movie and playing an iconic role. I think that's awesome. This is part of a series that I'm doing on this guitar. If you haven't watched the other episodes, go check those out first so you can get up to speed on where we're at. Today, we are going to put the cityscape on here. The first step to that is going to be sanding everything down a little bit. This has been sealed up with sanding sealer, and now it just needs a light sanding before we do anything else. So let's get to it. The point of that sanding wasn't to make it perfectly smooth and glassy and all that stuff. That comes much later after I've put more coats of stuff on the guitar. I really just wanted to knock off some of the high points on the guitar to get it closer to smooth so that when I get to that point, I'm not like digging into areas I don't want to on the guitar. What I found while working on the guitars is the more times I put lacquer on and then sand it down and put lacquer on, the better the end result ends up being. So this was just one of the many times that I will sand this guitar. And now it's time to put the actual design onto the face of the guitar. So this silhouette is what I need to put into the guitar, and I'll show you what I've been working off so far. I've shown this in earlier videos, but this is the front and back of the guitar, and this is the design that I've been going off of. And when I showed it to my wife, she pointed out a cool thing that I could do in this cityscape. So I did a little bit of a redesign, and hidden within this silhouette cityscape, you see Maria and Tony separated by the city. And I thought that was such a good idea that my wife had. So I'm gonna paint a little Maria in her white dress with the little red belt thing there, and then Tony, like they just came back from the dance, or they're about to go to the dance, or something. You can make up your own story here, but this is the design I'm going with. And in order to get it onto the guitar, I've blown this up with just the silhouette like this, and I'm gonna line this up and trace it onto the guitar. And you might notice that her dress and his shirt are green in this. That's just so I can see them, because my printer doesn't print white on white paper. People in the comment section often ask me why I don't use a Cricut more often when I'm doing work like this. My wife has a Cricut. I've used it on other guitar projects for various things, but for certain projects where people tend to use something like a Cricut, which cuts out vinyl or masking that you can use on a project like this, sometimes I choose not to do that. And I have various reasons for that. For this particular project, there were two reasons. One is that I really wanted this to have a feel kind of like street art. So I feel like the Cricut might be a little too polished. The second reason is I wanted the freedom to shift things around. If I had used the Cricut, I would have been stuck with whatever my image was on the computer when I put it down on the guitar. And for this particular guitar, since it has all these different holes in it, and the holes aren't exactly where they were in my computer program, I had to adjust a few things. For example, there was a water tower that landed right here in the base of this F-hole. I shifted that over to here. And Tony, poor Tony, would have been behind this tone knob right here. So I shifted him over to here. Little things like that are a little easier to deal with if I'm doing stuff by hand. And I was able to sort of shift and modify things as I went, and I wanted the freedom to do that with this particular project. Now comes the very tedious process of masking out all of this with masking tape. So anywhere that I don't want black to end up on this guitar, I have to cover up with masking tape. That was certainly the most intense masking job I think I've ever done. but we're at a finishing spot here. We've got all the binding masked off, we got the headstock masked off, the fretboard was already masked, and we've got our cityscape. I do need to punch a hole through here so that I can hang this while I'm spraying it. In the past I've used bolt-on necks. Bolt-on necks are really nice because you can spray the neck and the guitar independently of one another and like bolt it onto like a piece of wood as a handle, and you can maneuver it that way. When you have to glue the neck, or what's called a set neck, then you have to figure out a different way of hanging it. For Eric's guitar, he had an outlet right here, a little jack outlet that I could sort of put something through and hang it from there, but this doesn't have that. This has the outlet hole here, and it's hard to get to, and I wouldn't want to hang it from there anyway. So I've been hanging it from one of the pegs up in the headstock, and so I'll hold it, spray it, and then hook it on, and then have it hang there, and then I can be hands-free with it and spray it without getting fingerprints all over it. And it is late at night now, so I'm gonna hang this up right now, go to bed, and then tomorrow I will spray this with black lacquer. Just lined up this great shot to show you guys me spraying this black, and I forgot to hit record. So I just found my my camera just pointed where I wanted it to be pointed at, but not, you didn't get to see it. Sorry. It's black now. Yeah, this is gonna take a lot of coats. Got a black guitar now. The back is black, and this little front part here is black, and hopefully the masking did its job, and when I peel it off, we've got a really nice looking guitar. I have lost track of how many coats of paint I've put on this, but It's looking pretty good right now. And I've been patiently waiting all day to check out what's underneath the masking on this. I gave it 24 hours to cure, and now is the time to pull the masking off and see what worked, what didn't, and what is salvageable. Yeah, this could be a very exciting moment. I'm excited to see what's under here, good or bad, but this could be very exciting and very cool looking when it all comes apart. So hopefully we get that experience and not one of, like, you know, sadness. I would say that's about as successful as I could have hoped for. That looks really good. Yeah, I love that. I love it when things work the way that they happen in my head. There's a couple little things that I want to tweak a little bit and some techniques that I want to try, but overall, for masking and cutting out all that tape by hand, I think it turned out pretty good. Pretty good. Let's move on. All right, the first thing I want to do is kind of weird, but I saw somebody do this online, so I want to try it. I take some of the same black gloss lacquer that I've been using on this guitar and spray it into a cup. I'm gonna try and paint this with a brush. All right, those extra little details did two things. One, made the scene look better, I think. I think that they really added something to have the wires and antennas and the little struts for the water towers. I think that really added something. The second thing that it did was give me the confidence to do something that I've been on the fence about since I've taken the tape off of this thing. When Jessica told me what she wanted me to do with the two people in this scene, she wanted her to be wearing that white dress with the red band in the center. And so originally I had designed it with that idea that I would, after putting this base coat on, hand paint in the white dress and the little ribbon, and also put a little white in Tony's suit. But seeing it now, I think it looks great the way it is. I don't think it needs it, but it would be pretty cool to try. So against my better instincts, I'm gonna go for it and try and get the white and red details into this thing and see if I can make it work. When I had just got all the masking off, I took a picture of it, sent it upstairs to Jessica, texted her, and I was like, what do you think? Do you think it needs the white dress? And she was like, it doesn't need anything, but the white dress would make it pretty special. So I'm going to attempt to make the white dress happen right now. All right, this seems like a good place to stop today's episode. This guitar is coming along beautifully. I'm really excited about it. I love the binding. I haven't talked about this yet, and I haven't taken off the masking of the other side of the binding for a good reason. But I really like the binding on this. I think that's gonna be a really cool feature as well. I just haven't talked about it yet because I haven't unmasked the whole guitar yet. But this Cityscape, I think turned out really cool. I really like the white dress. Jessica was totally right about that one, as usual. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode, and be sure to tune in next week when we work on the back of the guitar. I'm going to use a completely different technique to get the design on the back of the guitar, and we'll be finishing up all of the painting in next week's episode, so you don't want to miss it. And the best way to not miss an episode is to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notified when I post new videos. You can look forward to new videos every Friday on this channel, and subscribing to the channel really does help support me. It is a free, easy way for you to support me and what I'm doing, and I thank you so much to those of you who have already subscribed to the channel. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Give this video a like if you liked it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week.